Hi guys, how's everyone doing? So if you want to watch the live version of this video, please head on over to my Facebook page, NU Journeys Counselling. But I also felt it would be useful to make this video for my YouTube channel, and thank you to all of my subscribers. I really appreciate you commenting. I will reply to every single comment, and I hope you'll find this video useful. If you do, please feel free as well to share it with anyone you think will find it of benefit. So something I want to talk about is something that's quite close to my heart, because I used to work at Women's Aid, which is a charity that works with women who are either victims of domestic violence currently or previously. So I'm just going to kind of make this video based off the live stream that I've just done on my Facebook, but also please feel free, as I've said, to leave your comments. And what I want to talk about is 4 reasons why it's time to end your abusive relationship. So there's lots of myths and misconceptions when it comes to abusive relationships. Many people judge men and women, because the men are in abusive relationships too. They will say things like, she likes it or he likes it, that's why they stay, they're stupid. If they want to remain in that relationship, that's up to them, but I'm not going to watch it anymore, I'm out of their life. The people will give ultimatums, and all that ends up doing is pushing the person more towards the abuser. Because if you give up on someone, what you're effectively saying is that I don't want to be a part of this, and then what you're leading them to then do is to end up saying, well, the abuser is here, no matter if they're treating me badly, at least they're here for me, at least my family have all given up on me, so what else have I got to do but to stay? So you're actually probably pushing them closer to the abuser when you walk away. And it's not to judge anyone who makes that decision. If you can't provide the support, if you find it exhausting, frustrating, hurtful, upsetting, then, you know, no one can judge you for that. But it's just sometimes thinking about the long-term picture. In most situations, people who are in abusive relationships take years to leave, or it takes either a breaking point situation, it takes an epiphany. They might just wake up one day and say, you know, I can't handle this anymore. It could be a conversation they have with a professional or with someone close to them. It could be anything. So as long as people are still keeping touching base with that person, there's a chance, there's an opportunity. So I want to give you some statistics that I wrote down here. According to recent statistics, 2 women each week are killed in the UK by a partner or an ex-partner. 1.9 million adults aged 16 to 59 are affected by domestic violence, whether that's through being victims, it could even be perpetrators included in that statistic, and also it could be people who are witnessing domestic violence. 700,000 of those are men. So although the focus is usually on women, and you can see the majority of victims of domestic violence are women, there are also men involved in domestic violence. And the issue that men have, and I might do a separate video on this, is that there's less services put in place for men. There's less acceptance and acknowledgement that men can be victims. So if someone sees someone who is a certain shape or physique, they might have the idea that how can you allow this woman to abuse you, you know, physically or emotionally? And for that man, he is going to feel damned if you do, damned if he doesn't. If he hits back, then he's going to be classed as an abuser. And that's what sometimes some women who are abused men will fall on that as well. They'll say, if you hit me, I'm going to call the police and they're going to arrest you. And that does happen as well. But also a lot of men do not get support or get listened to or heard by their friends. You know, they get teased. You know, why are you allowing this? You're weak for putting up with it. Why do you let her talk to you like that? So it puts men off from coming forward. So a lot of times with men, they will remain in these relationships, and they will also be killed as well. You know, and it's then they won't even be killed because they can't physically overpower a woman, despite the fact that a weapon doesn't care about gender. You know, if someone's got a gun and they're going to shoot you, then you being a man isn't going to prevent you from that. And women will use guns and knives and heels. You know, I've heard of stories where men have been killed by being beaten with, you know, a woman's high heel, that sort of thing. So it's about us being more aware, really, when we hear statistics, but also when we're talking about domestic violence, and not just say it affects women, or that people are weak, or people are stupid. So 4 reasons that it's probably a good idea to leave, or to consider leaving. Because if you don't, you will die, you will get hurt, you'll be at risk of being killed. There is a high risk, not just based on the statistics, but also based on the fact that if someone is continuously treating you in that way, then there's not likelihood to just stop. So the more prolonged the abuse is, the more it continues for, the less the likelihood that it's going to increase in veracity as well. And that's why it can lead to death, because if the person is abusing you and they realise it's not having any impact, they're going to ramp things up a little bit. And that's why you can find when someone has been being abused for 10 years or whatever, after the 11th or the 12th year, things can just get really bad. So the person's hospitalised, lungs punctured, being thrown down the stairs. It can just increase in veracity. So that's a good reason for you to leave, because if you walk away, then you know for a fact that that person could come after you, and that keeps people in those relationships. But if you stay, then the likelihood is you could die. There's a higher chance. Number 2 is that things can only get better if you make that change, instead of you waiting for the abuser to change. Waiting for someone to change just gives them power. If they wanted to change, they wouldn't be doing it in the first place. There's a reason. We always have to think, when someone does something, they have their agenda and they're choosing, they're making a choice to do something. I'm not someone that will ever justify someone being violent towards another person. I don't care if it's towards a child, towards an animal, towards a person. You choose to make that decision to do that. So it doesn't matter if you were angry, if you were drunk, if you had a bad day at work, you're still choosing to be violent. So whilst this person doesn't mean they're 100% a bad person, or it's irrelevant anyway to say whether someone's bad or good, but if you're waiting for that person to become the man you married, or you're waiting for that woman to, stop being angry or get her issues sorted, or whatever the reason you're giving to justify why that person will stop, it's likelihood that it's not going to happen, because they're getting something from doing that to you. So you need to take your power back, rather than giving them the power, and rather than having the hope and the belief in them. Number 3 is so that you can work on yourself and take the opportunity to become a new person, a stronger person, a more confident person, so that you might be able to meet someone in the future. You might be able to have a better life than you're having. That is a really good reason to leave. Staying with someone because you've invested in them for years, staying with someone because you think they're going to change, staying with someone because they're not bad all the time, staying with someone because of hundreds of other reasons. Yeah, that's can all be justified in your mind, but how about leaving because you can become a better person without them? You have to have that belief that it's possible. And what keeps people in abusive relationships, not even just physical but emotional abusive relationships, is that person keeps telling you you're never going to get anyone better, that you are worthless, that you are lucky that they're with you, and that sort of thing. So take their power away by proving them wrong. Show them that you don't need to be with them. And the final one is to prove to yourself, it's a similar thing, and the abuser, that you know your worth, that you're the one in control, and that you've got the power. Power is this thing that I think, to me, lots of people will tell people who has the power and who hasn't. Sometimes certain ethnicities will say we're more powerful because, certain religions will say we're more powerful because of this. Men might say to certain women, we're more powerful as men because we have strength, or we have whatever. Power is subjective. If you think you're powerful in a relationship, then you can walk away, and that means you've empowered yourself to do that. A lot of men will try and keep you. You have to think, and I don't want to, this video is going on a bit too long. Anyone that tries to control another person is insecure and lacks power, because you should be able to keep someone with you without telling them that they have to come back by 6 o'clock. You should know they're going to walk in the door at 6 o'clock because they want to be with you. So if you think of it in that way, then the person who's the abuser is actually got less power than you have, because they have to beat you to keep you there. They have to control your mind. They have to tell you you're worthless. They have to break you down. If they were powerful, they wouldn't need to do all that. They would leave you be, and they would know that you would love them anyway. So the key thing is to walk away before it's too late. And this final thing I want to add, and I've made a video about this on this channel, is to make sure that you're safe when you make that decision. The key point is when people tell someone they're going to leave. That's usually the point where they are hurt or killed. So if you're someone that is watching this video and you're in this situation, there are plenty of support organisations out there. You can Google Women's Aid, this is in the UK. Just Google domestic violence support services and lots of organisations should come up. There's also something called the Freedom Programme, which is a programme that works with women around domestic violence. So I hope you found this video useful. Please feel free to share it. Please feel free to comment. I will reply to all comments. Please thank you to all of my subscribers, and please feel free to like this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great afternoon, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye.